Again. Hold on one second. All right, happy April, guys. Welcome to our live Q&A for this week. New time this week because if you look in our, let me share my screen so you can see the community. Welcome, Nino the Barber. Welcome. I'm going to try to share my screen with you guys. If Instagram, let me know if you guys can't see this, but I wanted to share with you guys some activity that's been going on in the group. Let's share with you the group because if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you'll be able to see. So this is my free school community that's inside of the well, it's inside of a platform called School, and then it's called the Barber Mastermind. So I don't know if you guys can see that on Instagram. Can you guys see this? I'm also on YouTube. The YouTube's usually the best way to watch these calls because you can see my full screen. But hopefully you guys can see a little bit of that on Instagram. This is our school group. It's got almost 3,000 barbers inside this group. It's 100% free to join. So you go to the this about page, you can see it's actually free. If you go to click on join now, it's actually there's actually no charge to be in this community. I do have another community that's not free if you guys are wanting more help. But I think that just being in this community can hopefully help you guys get to at least where I am a lot faster than it took me because it took me 9 years, almost 10 to get to this point, and I feel like that's really slow. So I want to help you guys get there a lot faster than what it took me. So this is my attempt to do that. And while I'm here, I can share with you guys my agenda for today. So I'll talk. This is kind of what I did for my for the members in my paid community earlier this week. But I can go through some of this with you guys. I could even give you a sneak peek of like what it's like to be inside the paid community. For those of you that might be interested in that Suave Cayo, welcome. Vital Cuts, welcome. So this is the kind of the agenda for today. I'll talk about what's new, if there's any new members, any course updates that I've created recently for our paid community. I'll talk about what's top of mind. So now we're in a new month. So I'm going to talk about how like at least from what I can see so far, I haven't done all the financials yet. What's up, Vital Cuts, Jerry? I haven't done all the financials yet from March, but so far from what I know, we did over six figures in sales in March. So that's awesome. Um, I'll be honest, that's a first. That's a first for us. That'll be the standard going forward, though. And it's funny when you create new goals, at least in my mind, it immediately goes to, all right, well, why can't that be seven figures a month? You know, it's like the first time you make 100 grand. It's like, at least for me, it's like, well, why can't it be a million? Why can't it be a million a month? So I just was starting my recording here so I can use some of this stuff as content for later. But all right, there you go. So, what's new in the community? I think that some people will ask some questions here. So I'll go through and answer some of those. If you guys have any questions during this call, just type them in the chat, and I can see the questions, and I'll kind of stop throughout to help answer any questions that you guys might have. All right, move that over there. So I'm going to share my screen again. Here we go. All right, so as I mentioned, oh, last month we did a Google review contest for the for my shop, and I screenshotted what our reviews look like at the beginning of the month, and then I did a screenshot as of this morning, and as you can see, both locations had a significant increase in the number of reviews. And if you guys don't believe me, just like Google it. You can, that's the name of our shop right there. You can see the number of reviews have gone up significantly. So I have a whole course in my barbershop owner community, which I'll show you about how to increase your Google reviews. And if you go into the classroom and then you go to this course right here, which is how to get clients for free from Google, then you can actually see. Like this is exactly what I did this month, except, I also had the team helping me. The way I incentivized them was I basically gave them $10 for every 5-star review that we get during the month of March. So this is going to end up being an expensive month, but I think it was worth it. I don't think there is a better investment in trying to get new clients than Google, because it's in a lot of ways it's permanent. Like these reviews are going to stay on your page forever, unless somebody deletes it, which in my experience is pretty rare. So if you don't have a Google page, whether you're an independent barber, or you have your barber shop, I think you're really missing out on a lot of opportunity there. And so this is the whole course that I made on it. And I like a lot of courses that I have in this community. I go back and I update things. So I think that this is the most recent update I did. You can get 10 new Google reviews from every hire that you do. So I just added that like a few days ago. So these courses inside this community actually are like living and breathing. There's not a course in here that I can confidently say will like never change and get updated. So this is we basically follow this like this this playbook, and I can turn this on anytime I want. Anytime I feel like, you know, we're not where I want to be in terms of Google reviews, I can just flip that switch, get the team bought in, and we can just boost our reviews by, in this case, it was over a hundred reviews for each location. Yeah. So what was funny is our older location that has a larger team actually got less reviews than the newer location that has a smaller team. I thought that was interesting. So it really goes to show you that the main difference, I think, is how much the barbers care and how much they are actually trying, you know, because there's nothing I can do. I mean, there's very little that I can do as an owner that is going to be as effective as just the barbers actually trying. Yeah. And the way that I get them to try is, well, I motivate them and I show them like this is how you can make more money. But I also sometimes I we do contests around these things. So like I've been a big believer in contests for a while. Um, and the contest that we are doing just kind of depends on where I feel like the opportunity is in our business right now. So this month, we're actually focused on product sales because products are awesome. Products are very, very, very profitable. And this is going to end up costing me a lot of money, right? Because I gave them $10 for every 5-star review we get. And as you can see, we got 272 reviews in March. So insanely expensive, but also I think a high stylist named Danji, uh, insanely expensive, but also an investment. This is one of those things that's going to continue to pay back forever, I think, as long as those reviews stay there, which they usually do, for good or for worse, because half the reviews that that are 1 star, or around that, are for people that don't even work for us anymore. So that's annoying. But at the same time, a lot of the good reviews are sometimes from people that don't work for us anymore. So there's two sides to that. But ultimately, I don't see any disadvantage to having a good reputation on Google. It's just something that supercharges everything else, if you think about it. Like if you want to run ads, if you want to post content, if you want to do anything to attract new clients, um, having good Google reviews just takes that so, so much further. So that's what I did last month. And by the way, yeah, like I mentioned, we ended up having our best month ever so far. Now I'm just like, let's see if we can beat that, you know? But yeah, so that was great. And then as far as the community goes, let's see, we had a question here come in. Let me see if I can share my screen again. Somebody asked if they're working at Amazon as a driver, should they quit to focus on barbering or do both? Um, so I answered that question, but ultimately I think that you need to do the thing that's going to take care of yourself, take care of your family, pay your bills. And I think that it just means that you might have to do two jobs for right now, you know? Like super, super simple. It's not an answer that some people will like, but I don't know that I agree that it's you should go all in on one thing. I mean, that's what I did, but I don't necessarily think that that was a smart idea. But I went all in. Like I started a barbershop and I didn't have any backup plan. I definitely didn't have enough money to pay for the bills if it all worked out, but it did. But I don't recommend that. That was very risky. I could have lost everything, and a lot of people do. Most businesses don't make it for that reason. So I think that you should have a job, right? If you're not making anything from barbering, or better yet, you find a better job as a barber where you can get like a guaranteed pay while you learn to cut hair. So I think that as a new barber, you want to be going somewhere where the pay is more or less guaranteed. So and that's going to mean that you're going to maybe go somewhere where the earning potential isn't as good, but it's guaranteed as well. Where a lot of barbers that I talk to on booth rent make a lot less than the same barbers that are working at Sport Clips or Great Clips, or one of these chain barbershops. And it's like you're just focused on how much the owner's taking. But what I really think you guys should be focusing on as barbers is how much is ending up in your bank account. That's what matters, right? And once you have the skill, then you can leave and do your own thing somewhere else. But like a lot of you guys are trying to jump into the places that have the cheapest booth rent or the highest commission, but then just to get there and find out that like, oh, you got to get your own clients. You know, it's like, well, I'm still learning how to cut hair, you know? So, but if you're end up in a shop or if you're in an area where it's not an option to find a place that can guarantee you pay because it's outside of franchises, it's pretty rare. That's what we do though. I always guarantee my barbers a guaranteed wage when they start. So whether they're cutting hair or not, they're getting paid. So I'm incentivized to make sure that they stay busy because I have to pay them whether or not they're busy. But if you're not in a place that can do that, then yeah, you should definitely have another job because it's going to take a while to get the barbering thing to take off. All right, Angie, I see you. So is Google free to create? Yes, it is. I think they made it a little bit harder. Um, I haven't my Google page is like 10 years old. But I think now you have to send them like a video, uh, if like to prove that you're a real business essentially. Because I think they're probably doing this because they've had some problems as far as like people just creating fake businesses, just to be on Google. And I think you also have to run it by like if you work for somebody else, probably you want to make sure that they're fine with it, right? But ultimately, like if you're independent or if you have your own shop, I don't see any reason why you should. I think it would be you should definitely be on Google, you know? And if you work for somebody else, then you need to be like on their Google. You need to be getting reviews with your name in it. You need to be getting pictures of your work, you know? I thought it was smart. I saw a barbershop the other day with pictures. Um, and they put their Instagram name in the picture, but it was for the barbershop. So I think that's really smart. Ultimately, yeah, I mean these things will just being on Google in general will help you get new clients because I mean the world's changing fast, but I do think that right now is um, a lot of people still turn to Google to find a barber. A lot of people just go on there and search barber near me, and if you're not popping up, I don't know how you can expect to get a new client. And this is actually like a one-time piece of work too. Like this is the hardest part is just getting started. But once it's there, you can just update it over time. Yelp is great too. Well, I don't like Yelp, but I think 100% of people should be on Yelp because it's free and some people use it. So if it's free, if it's going to get you clients, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be on Yelp. And then, yeah, I agree. I recommend, I know, go somewhere for hourly pay with extra training. Yeah, I mean, it's the easiest way to get started in this industry, guys. Like, if you want to just increase the likelihood of success in the barber world, then you have to go, I think you want to go somewhere that's really, really busy and that's going to guarantee you some sort of wage, right? Or if it's not guaranteed, at least it's busy because that in a way is a form of a guarantee. Like I when I started out, it was in a barbershop that was pure commission. So there was no base pay, there was no hourly pay. I was an independent contractor, and but the shop was busy as fuck, right? So in a way that was sort of a guarantee because I started day one, didn't have to do any marketing. I started doing like 10, 15, 20 haircuts a day, right? So that was my guarantee. But in terms of the pay structure, there was no guarantee. So either find a place that's really, really, really busy, or find a place that's busy and gives you some sort of hourly wage. But don't go to one of these, Bob's Barbershop with, $50 booth rent and think that you're going to make it in this industry. I mean, maybe you can. I just don't know. I don't know. I left an hourly pay and get commission now. It's pretty good walk in. The shop does well marketing. Great. I mean, if you that's awesome. Yeah, because if you think about it, I think of it as like a partnership, you know? Like if you're going to work for somebody else, then I think the best way to structure this is to have some skills. They ideally have some skills that you don't have, right? So a lot of barbers come to me and they need something, right? They either don't know how to cut hair, so they need training on that, or they know how to cut hair, but they don't know how to get clients. So I can help with that because I know how to do that. Um, But if you're going to work for somebody and they don't know how to train you how to cut hair and they don't know how to get you clients, then I don't know why you would want to work for them. Like, what are you getting from there besides a chair and some air conditioning, you know? Um, if if you're just starting out in this industry, go work for somebody who knows what they're doing, who knows how to market and fill your chair, right? Otherwise, you might as well be on your own. But I don't recommend that. I don't recommend that new barbers go out on their own because you, the likelihood that you make it is so low. Like I think there's so many people that could have made it and been great barbers in this industry, but they just did things in the right order. Like half of this shit is just timing, guys, you know? Like you the end goal I can see like to open your own shop or to go independent, do your own suite, whatever, right? But like I don't think you should start there. Like you have a lot of skills to learn when you first come out of the barber industry. And I think you need to start with like just learn how to cut hair and then learn how to get some clients and learn how to retain them. And once you've got that down, then maybe you do the next thing, right? But a lot of people just forget that and they skip over that step. And then I think they end up sabotaging themselves. Or maybe they did go to the on paper, the right shop, but the owner wasn't great, and they think that, oh, this is like every barbershop's like this. Like, maybe, maybe in your area, but not every barbershop is like that, you know? So think about that before you graduate barber school. If you're new to the industry or you're new to an area, because I consider that basically the same thing. You don't know anybody, right? Uh, Try to find the best barbershop you can. Um, I don't think we should. I'll be here forever because I feel like we should get more, but I'm not there yet. So I'm trying to build my clientele. I'm working on bringing my own clients. Yeah, I think that if you work for somebody else, first you need to focus on like cutting hair and getting as good as you can with that. And then you want to get to the point where I think most of your clients are requests, you know, and not just like walk-ins or new clients. And then you also need, I think, to figure out marketing because when you leave, I'm just telling you right now, when you leave, you're going to be surprised at how many people follow you, right? Or how many people don't follow, I should say. And I would say that you'd be lucky if half your people follow. One of my coaches told me one time it's like a third a third of people are going to follow you no matter where you go, no matter what you charge, they're going to follow you, right? A third of people are loyal to the shop. Like they don't care who cuts their hair. they're loyal to the brand, they're loyal to the business, and then a third of people are kind of undecided, right? So that's what you're trying to affect, right? Maybe you keep like a third of your clients, right? For sure, but you can keep maybe up to 50, 60% by trying to work on those people that are in the middle. But you also have to have the skill of marketing because you're not going to be able to keep those people forever. So that's why I think if you're planning on leaving a barbershop, those are the three things that you got to have down, right? You got to know how to cut hair. You got to, and get to the point where most of your retention is high. And an indication of that, if they don't track retention, is like you have a lot of requests, people specifically requesting you. And then you have to know how to market because you're going to lose some of those people that follow you eventually. Like maybe they keep coming back for a while before you lose them, but eventually you're going to lose almost everybody, right? Because I have one of the highest retention in my shop. Um, I retain about 90% of my clients. That's new and existing. So that's pretty decent. That's pretty good. There's only like one or two barbers that have higher retention than me, which I'm really happy about, actually. Um, I haven't been the best barber in my own shop in a really long time, which I'm actually like really happy about that because that tells me that I can potentially take a step back from cutting hair altogether in the future when the time is right. Um, but anyways, yeah, retention. Yeah, me being at 90% retention means that nine out of every 10 people come back, but it's not 100. It's like if I have 100 clients, I'm going to have 90 next month, right? And if I don't have a way of replacing them next month, I'm going to lose 10% of them. So I'm going to have 81 clients, right? And then eventually, this is where I think, you know, suite owners and people that leave barbershops fail because they fail to realize that like you might have a lot of clients now, but you're not going to have the same amount of clients even on day one, wherever you go at your new place. And then on day 100, you're going to have even less. So you have to learn. Now is the time to learn how to market while it's still kind of the stakes aren't as high, you know? Um, it does take years to build. I agree with that. Well, I don't know. I have a video on my YouTube channel that I posted recently. I'm see if I can point you guys to that. But we actually did the math to show you guys like how long it actually takes. Well, not how long, but like I did the math to figure out how many clients you actually need. So let me see if I can share with you that. So let me share my screen with you guys. So this is the video right here. How many clients do you really need to stay booked? Um, this is the answer to how many you need. Now, what I didn't talk about in this video, which I don't talk about too much, to be honest, because I think that it would discourage people um, if they actually realize this, but how long it takes for you to become fully booked if you're in a shop that's busy ultimately depends on how well you retain clients. Um, so I have seen people start at my shop with zero clients, none. Like they were new to town, right? Nobody knew who they were, and then end up fully booked in like 3, 4 months. Like that's really fast. But like every single one of my barbers is doing like hundreds of haircuts every single month. So you have to have those two ingredients. Like you have to have a ton of volume. You have to be seeing a ton of clients, and then you have to retain them, right? So I think that if you're in a spot where you're getting hundreds of haircuts every single month, but you're not filling up, you're not getting busier, you're not getting booked further and further out, that could be a sign that there's a retention problem. And maybe you got some work to do, either on your haircutting skill, on your customer service skill. Maybe you're not reliable. Maybe you're calling out all the time. You're changing your schedule. You're leaving work early. Maybe you're not consistent. So maybe it comes out good sometimes. It doesn't come out good the other times. You got to work on those things before you go out on your own. Not saying that that's an issue with you, but it's one of those sometimes barbers don't wonder why they're not getting busier. Well, my question is usually like, what happened to all the clients that you cut last month? You know, like I'm very transparent with the numbers in my shop. Like I just show them like, here was your retention. You saw, 200 clients last month, but only, 50 came back. It's going to take you forever to build. Like if your retention stays there. And all the barbers that make the most money in my shop are the ones that have the highest retention. It's because they don't need to worry about marketing, right? That's the ultimate hack, right? It's like get to a point where you don't need new clients. It's just they're just the same people keep coming back. And you get some new ones, but ultimately you keep getting busier because you're getting more new clients than you're losing, you know? It's just a math problem, you know? Um, yeah, you started in the shop in May. I feel like this is a one-on-one call. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to type them in the chat, but I'm happy to help you guys. I'm happy to help you. I started in the shop in May. I've been here 10 months. I've had lots of people come back. I'm not fully booked. I would say maybe every other week. Okay. Well, one thing that you can do to help kind of speed up the process of becoming fully booked is to focus on rebooking. So I don't know if you do that or not, but you want to try to get everybody to book their next appointment before they leave. And if you really get good at doing that, then you're not going to have as many slow weeks, right? Because you're planning when they're coming back. And there's like levels to rebooking. I'm actually going to be making a whole course about it for my other group, for my barbershop owner group. But I would say level one, if you're not rebooking, if you're rebooking less than 50% of your clients, then I would say you're at level one, right? You're just like at that point you're just like very inconsistent. You're not really bringing it up as with every single client. You're not telling them why they should do it. And you're probably asking, do you want to book your next one? And um, if you're even asking at all, right? uh, where the best people that are level two and level three rebooking, I've seen people get as high as almost 100%. They're not asking. They're like, all right, I got your next one set up for you. If it doesn't work out, you can always cancel it. There was no like yes or no question, right? So rebooking is the key, I think. Thanks for joining the call. You can always watch the recording, but rebooking is the key to make sure that you don't have as much slow days in the future. It doesn't guarantee that somebody's going to come in just because they rebook their appointment. Um, but it does increase the likelihood, right? Especially if you're already busy or if you're starting to get busy, rebooking becomes more important as you get busier. Because one thing I've noticed with my barbers that have really, really high retention is that sometimes they can struggle with new client retention, even though I know that they're good and the clients want to come back and see them, but they're actually at a point where they're too busy for clients to come back. So at a certain point, if your retention is high, you actually have to get better at rebooking. You have to get really better at everything, right? But especially rebooking, because if you want to keep the retention there, that's the one thing. Like if it's one thing to get to high retention, it's another thing to stay there. Anybody can get there once, but can you stay there? Can you consistently be at high retention? And rebooking is one of the answers to how to stay there. It's not going to guarantee somebody comes back because somebody could always cancel or no show on you. But that's why you also have to get better at other areas, like sending reminders, following up with people, pretending that you care about them, like these are things that are going to keep people wanting to come back. Because ultimately, even if you don't get good at rebooking, I've seen barbers that have high retention that weren't good at rebooking. So it's not like rebooking is the cure, right, to not having high retention. You could just not rebook anybody and still have high retention. But I think that the best barbers also are good at rebooking because they have to be. Like if you want to see this person again and you're starting to get booked a week, 2 weeks out, then you better plan it for them. Otherwise, they're going to go on your schedule and try to book an appointment with you. and they can't. So now they just end up going somewhere else, right? And one thing I tell that's specific to us because of the way we track client retention is that it doesn't matter who they go back to, right? So at a certain point, as a barber, at least in our shop, you're gonna get to that point where you have more clients than you can handle, and the only way that client will be able to keep coming back to the shop is if you start recommending the people around you, right? Because it does count towards your retention if you're a barber shop if you're a barber that works for me, it does count towards your retention. It counts as a retained client if they come back, but they end up going to somebody else in the same location. So rebooking is extremely powerful. There's no reason not to do it. I'm going to make a whole course about it for our barbershop owner mastermind community because it's also one of those things that it doesn't cost anything and it's easy to do. It's an easy way to start getting busier faster, but it's one of those things that's hard to get barbers to do because there's not like an immediate reward. Like when you do a haircut or any type of service, you get a tip like right away. You get paid right away. When you sell a product, right? You might not get paid right away, but you see that commission when it shows up on your paycheck next week, like in our case, right? Rebooking is tough to get barbers to do, in my experience, because they're not seeing that like instant reward. Um, but I can promise you that if you start rebooking the majority of your clients today, like a month from now, 2 months from now, you're going to be glad you did it. So start today, and then you'll see the benefits from it. Oh, I'm in a month, 2 months, if you start rebooking your clients today. And we're actually, if you guys didn't know, like there's seasons in our business, and we're about to go into what is usually a pretty slow season. So the beginning of the year, the very beginning, like January, is typically pretty slow, right? And then February kind of starts to pick up back up again. March was a record month for us, but in general, it's kind of like a meh month. Summertime is, at least in Florida, in my experience, is a pretty slow month. So if now is the time to start learning this skill of rebooking and start making it a habit. And the cool thing about rebooking is that it's actually a behavior that you can train. So once you get a client used to doing it, like once, twice, they're going to start asking you, right? Because it's just going to become part of the process. Like, oh, I get my haircut, then I rebook, and then I go, right? So it's actually something that it does take some work to train your clients to do it. But once they start doing it, then they might even start asking you, like, all right, let's get the next one set up. And then there's, like I said, there's like levels to rebooking. And level three is like, you are rebooking like 80, 90% or more of your clients. If you're starting to book not just their next haircut, but their next two or three. You might even have some of your clients on recurring appointments that are just automatically repeating every, week, every 2 weeks or whatever. And that's when it starts to that's when you really start to get busy, when you start to get to the point where you book like a month out, 2 months out, 3 months out. Like I think my record was one time as a barber being booked like 2 or 3 months out, which is actually not good. Like I don't recommend, like if you're there, then that's, first of all, that's good. Most barbers never get there. But at that point, I think you need to consider like raising prices, right? Or if, as a barber shop, you might want to consider like you need to hire people because people don't want to wait, month, 2 months to get their haircut. Like they want to come in like this week. And as a barbershop owner, even when we get to the point where we're starting to get booked a few days out, I'm starting to think about hiring, right? Because I know that especially if you're running ads and you're spending money to get people in the door, um, that can be expensive, right? Because your people are clicking on your ad and they're trying to book an appointment and they can't because they're too busy. And I don't think it's a good thing. Either raise your prices or hire people if you're a barbershop owner. But it's not good to be like booked that far out because it can actually hurt your retention, you know? Like I can say these things because I know and I track everything. Like I've been tracking this stuff for 5 years now. I've been in business 10 years almost. I've been tracking retention, rebooking, all these things since 2020. So I've seen the data for the last few years, and I know how one thing affects the other. And when you start to get busy, your ad costs actually rise, right? Because people are clicking on the ad and they want to book an appointment, but they can't. So what do? Well, now you got them in the mood to get a haircut. So now they're just going to go to the next person down the list, right? And then you just lost, you just paid to send your clients to somebody else, to your competition, right? So that's what can happen if you end up getting too busy, right? So rebooking is the key if you want to get clients in the door and keep them, plan when they come back, right? And then you can start shifting people, right? Because everybody is busy on Friday and Saturday, right? In the shop, in my shop's the same way. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, usually the busiest days. But what the smartest barbers do is they'll take somebody who's on booked, who normally comes in on Saturday and Sunday, and they'll say, "Hey, do you want to come in on Tuesday instead, where it's a little quieter?" Because I've actually done surveys with our clients where I ask them, do you prefer to come in when the shop's busy, or do you like it when it's a little bit more chill? 100% of people said, I prefer to come in when it's a little bit more quiet, right? And that's how you can start with a conversation about rebooking. And then you're like, oh, well, do you want me to set you up on your next appointment on a Tuesday or Wednesday? Those are normally my quieter days, right? So rather than everybody coming back on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we can start to shift some of those clients that would normally come in on their busiest days and then shift them to the days that are quieter. So that way it frees up your busy days for those people, for those walk-ins, for those last minute new clients, for the people that are looking to book online today or calling, right? I mean, I know I've been through this, guys. We probably miss more phone calls than most barbershops get in a month. You know, that's actually a huge opportunity. If you guys have a slow day in the future, there's actually in my I think it might be in the free group. But there's a whole, I'll share my screen so you guys can see where to find it. But there's actually let's go back to my YouTube channel. So there's actually a whole poster that I have printed out. Let's see, where is it? It's like what to do on slow days. This is the channel, is the video that I'm looking for. Mm, so we're on my YouTube channel now. Let's see. By the way, guys, if you guys aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel, it doesn't cost anything. It helps me out. So if you find these calls valuable and you want me to keep doing more of them, go ahead and hit subscribe on my YouTube channel. It would help me out, and it'll make it so that I can keep doing stuff like this for you. So I'm looking for, let me just see if I can search for it. Slow days. There it is. Okay. So this is the video that I was talking about. So if you're having a slow day and you're not sure what to do, I talk about exactly what we do at our shop. One of the easiest things you can do to fill your schedule is just to reach out to anybody that has tried calling, texting, DMing you in the last few days, um, that didn't book an appointment because they already tried coming in, right? Uh, and so that would be where I would start. That's actually exactly what's on our poster, and we prioritize it. So that's at the very top. Is like reach out to the people that have already tried reaching out to us, and then go down the list of the other things on there, which I cover in that video. All right, so I don't see any other questions for today. Shorter call today. Um, if you guys have any other questions, let me know. I'm actually going to show you if you guys are interested. This is the my free barber group, the Barber Mastermind. It's on a platform called School. The URL is school with a K.com/barber dash mastermind. 100% free to join. I do have a barbershop owner community, which is not free, but if you want even more help, the ability to book calls with me, get access to all these courses that are in here, how to run ads, how to price your haircuts, how to DM people on Instagram, how to build your Google profile, how to hire barbers, all the resources that I use to run my shop, and a lot more. Let's see the rebooking course that I'm talking about. I just started it today. That you can find also in the link to my profile wherever you're watching this. So hopefully you guys found this call valuable. If you guys have any feedback for me, let me know. If you can't join my paid community, don't worry about it. You know, I have that's what the free one is there for. You can also interact with me in there too, but I definitely prioritize the paid group, of course. But I do this not to make money. I do this to give back. It makes me feel good. I get content out of it. Um, so I think everybody wins when I do stuff like this because, you know, if the barber industry elevates its standards and we all treat our clients better and we make more money as barbers, then I see that as a win overall. So hopefully you guys found this call valuable. The next one will be next week on Wednesday. If you don't know the time, just look in the school group, look in the calendar. It says the exact time and gives you the link to the call. So I'll see you guys then. Talk to you soon.